Welcome back to Scratching the Surface. On episode 39 today, I will be reviewing the recent horror release, Clown in a Cornfield. Before I get into the episode, please check us out at scratchingthesurface100.com. You can read our monthly article blogs, you can leave and write your own horror movie reviews, and you can keep up to date for future horror movies for the year of 2025 and beyond. So, Clown in a Cornfield, directed by Eli Craig, who gave us Zombieland as well as Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. It's an adaptation of a 2020 novel written by Adam Cesare. There's actually a series of novels from Adam Cesare. So if you haven't read them, I suggest going and checking them out. I've heard good things. I haven't read any of them myself, but again, I've heard good things. I will try to keep this first minute or two spoiler free for you guys. I will then kind of dive into more spoiler heavy content related to the film. This one is a very standard slasher at the end of the day. It's nothing exceptional. It's not going to blow anybody away. I don't think it's one of the greater movies of the year at all. It's not going to scratch my top 10 when it's all said and done, but it's still a fine film. It knows what it wants to be. It doesn't try to be more than that. It sticks within the realm and the constrictions of the slasher subgenre. It knows what it is, and it excels for the most part at doing that and being that, to the point that even me as the viewer going to this film in theaters had an idea of what to expect. I tried to avoid any spoilers, and this is what I was expecting, and it's the film that I got. And that's just an okay film. It's a fun time, a good popcorn flick. There's some good kills here and there. But what is kind of nice about this film, especially for a broader audience, is it is not too graphic. It does not get too gory, and it's the perfect gateway entry-level horror movie for anybody who has any interest in this genre. Now, there's been a lot of controversy over this movie because of its lack of grittiness and goriness and the kills being too restrained and held back. But to have a gateway to the horror genre, you have to have movies like that. Katie Douglas in this film, who plays Quinn Maybrook, is, I think, going to be a rising star in the horror genre. This is one of her first main films within horror, and I think she does a very fine job. She does a pretty good job considering the limit of budget as well as an unknown cast. So she's not working with a whole lot of, A-tier actors that are going to help propel her. She had to kind of hold this down on her own, and I think she does a very good job. I hope to see her in more stuff going forward and to maybe be a upcoming future modern scream queen for this genre. We see Kevin Durand play Arthur Hill. He is a well-known actor, but again, everybody else for the most part, you will not know. Now, I will get into the spoilers of the film. The setting itself is in Kettle Springs, Missouri. Kettle Springs, Missouri. And within this town, we see Quinn Maybrook and her father, Dr. Maybrook, Glenn Maybrook, moving into their new house out on the farm. It's a pretty rickety house. It needs some upkeep. It needs some maintenance, and it needs a lot of new stuff. And these two move into this house from Pennsylvania, with Glenn Maybrook switching jobs. Glenn's wife and Quinn's mother had passed away the summer before, so they're going through a big life change, literally and figuratively. So they move into this house, and now the story focuses on Quinn's relationships and her experience at the new school she's going to. She goes to the school, she meets a new group of friends, and once she meets this group of friends, everything pretty much takes off from there in terms of the action ramping up, the mystery to the town coming into play as well, and then the kills starting to arise and body count starts to go up in terms of deaths. So this is really the beginning of the film. It's about Quinn finding this new group of friends. They go out on the town a few nights, they go out to parties, they start drinking, and Glenn, as the father, is struggling with keeping his daughter within reach and keeping her safe. She's a kid and she just wants to have fun and she wants to meet people. So this is Quinn going through that rebellious stage and finding that there's a little more to this town, a little bit more sinister actions being done in this town on a yearly basis, on a bi-yearly basis. When this time of the year comes around, they celebrate a parade in Kettle Springs to celebrate the history of the town, and especially the corn syrup factory, Baypen Corn Syrup, that really started this town and employed a lot of people and sustained the town and the people that lived within it. So they celebrate this every year. And it just so happens that some people start going missing, some people start dying, and we realize that Frendo, a clown, is on the loose. Now, I love the reveal when we actually have an idea of Frendo being a real killer. There is a video that is taken by one of the friends in the friend group about halfway through the film, maybe towards the back of the first act, and they're videotaping a prank. One of the friends pranks their other friend by wearing Frendo's costume and acting like he's going to kill him. So this is a really good moment because you're not really sure if that's the actual Frendo or not. You don't know if it's one of the group members messing with the other and just trying to scare them. And initially it is just the friend scaring them. But we look back at the video that was taken, Quinn replays it to just look back on the memories of that night together with her friends. And she sees a second Frendo in the frame of the video, in that certain frame. And that's when you know, oh God, here we go. There is more to this town. There is more going on. So once everything picks up, it is enjoyable to watch. It's carefree. It doesn't think too much about what it wants to be. And it just gives us a pretty straightforward story from beginning to end. The Frendos, this is the big reveal kind of going into the final act, is that there are several Frendos. When we first see them come out and killing people at this party that Quinn is at with her friends, we see a bunch of Frendos coming out of the cornfield nearby them. And we're talking 5, 10, 15, it could be 20 of these Frendos running around with weapons and trying to take people out. Some stuff happens. Some people die. We have Quinn ending up in the hands of the sheriff of the town, Sheriff Dunn, who she had met earlier in the film. He seemed like a good guy, happy-go-lucky, super nice, but he's not. We also find that Kevin Durant's character, Arthur Hill, is not a good guy. He was the mayor of the town even, and he is not a good guy. They tell Quinn that her generation and many generations before her were a problem. They were degrading the town that they lived within. They were changing it for the worst. And it was up to these town members to make sure their town stays the same and does not let new people in, new ideas, new cultures. We have to keep it the same. So after revealing this, we now know they do this often. They do a purge in a way in Kettle Springs, Missouri, some small town in bumfuck nowhere that nobody knows about. So once that's revealed, we then now know we're in a fight for our lives with the characters, and we hope to see Quinn, her father Glenn, as well as her friends Cole and Rust get out of this sticky situation, this dangerous, life-threatening situation. And ultimately they do. They get out alive. They kill the clowns and they make it to see another day. We fast forward at the end of the movie to like a year later. We see that Glenn Maybrook, Quinn's father, is running for mayor of the town, and things seem to be in a good state. She's going off to college. She's leaving Glenn to go to college, and she finds in the back a Jack-in-the-Box toy. Now, this was used throughout the movie as a calling card, you could say, for Frendo during the movie. And she looks at it. She thinks it's a little weird for a second, and she thinks, that's all done and over. Tosses it out the window, and that's how the film ends. There's one character, though, one villain we know survives here that we didn't see die, and that is the mayor of Kettle Springs, Arthur Hill, who was the father of Cole. He got out alive, and we know based off the novels that he will be coming back in Frendo Lives, which is the second novel in the series. Now, we don't know if the film's for sure greenlit, but if this one does well enough, I think we may be seeing Arthur Hill's return and his revenge being enacted upon the characters and the protagonists in the movie. So, Clown in a Cornfield. It's a decent little watch. It's nothing amazing. It's a nice little slasher that goes by in a jiff, and it's fun. I give it a 3 out of 5. There's a lot of people that have said they think it's one of the better ones of the year. That's up to you to decide. I think it's worth going to. It's still out in theaters. A budget of $1 million, and it's doing pretty well so far, about 3 or 4 million domestic at the box office. So That is all for now, guys. Thank you and keep watching horror.